research update today. So, a lot of stuff going on today in some ways, and a lot of places were kind of quiet, right? So, I mean, everything looked good when we got in there. As I said earlier, he'd had 3 episodes in the night of that whole thing where his oxygen saturation levels dropped. But the good news is they were not, like panics like they were the other day. What day was that? Friday. So this was a much better thing. They got it under control a lot quicker and all that kind of stuff. There's some couple of medicines that they haven't been giving him 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, and so they seem to think there's a connection between not getting those at night and then having those things happen. And so what we need to do is get that under control. There's some pneumonia in there. It's not showing up very well because they're giving antibiotics, and when you give antibiotics, apparently it doesn't show up the same way. So we're sort of hoping that that's going to get taken care of right away. There's a lot of good things going on. Best neurologist report yet. I mean, he's been real pessimistic, and hey, I get that. That's his kind of thing, is to be pessimistic and all that. And so you don't want him to be too optimistic, frankly, because you don't want to get your hopes up. And so good report from him, good report from everything this morning. I went to the doctor meeting again today when they did rounds, and so that came out, no concerns at the end. They got to deal with the things they have to deal with. But like today, they came in, they make him cough, so there's a thing in his nose, right, that goes down into his lungs, and they make him cough. And when they did today, there's dramatic movement that he was making with both legs, pulling them up, probably 6-8 inch movement there. I messed around, grabbed his foot. I mean, not grabbed it, I put my hand on his foot and squeezed it very lightly, and pretty significant movement. In the past, you'd barely been able to say, it's like, okay, I'm 99.7% sure that there really was movement, and I wasn't just dreaming that. So I move his arms. He's moving his head a lot of good signs today. Really happy about all the things that we saw today. We're just measuring this progress a little bit at a time. That's the best we can do at the moment. Probably not going to do too much more, but they didn't actually find the thing that they thought they might find in his heart that had caused the problem the other day. So that's a good thing, because it's not something we have to worry about longer term, and that's something called a PFO, if you want to look it up. If not, whatever. But there are a lot of positive signs today. By the time I left, they'd gotten the respirator back down to about 40. It was 50 when I went in. It was about 80 apparently in the middle of the night. So they got that back down and in pretty good shape. So we're happy with all that stuff. Now I'm going to give you a little bit of information that we're hoping for this week, and you're going to think, John, really, you're hoping for that? We are, actually. It's supposedly a good thing. So love the nurse, absolutely love Julia. She's fantastic. So what she said today is that they worry about having those tubes down his throat for the feeding and the breathing tubes. They can do more, and they can do more testing if they don't have those things going down his throat. They have to keep him very sedated, because it's a problem to have that. So what they're probably going to be wanting to talk to us about this week, and we have to approve it, is to do a tracheostomy. And so they're going to have to cut a hole here and then run the oxygen in here and then put a feeding peg in. Initially, I thought, oh my gosh, are we like bad, and is it worse than I thought? And so Julia said she's been in neuro ICU for 5 years, and so she said, nope, this is exactly the progress you want to make. And so they got to get them out of there because they worry about infection, and you definitely don't want to get an infection. She said, afterwards they reverse that. You got these tiny little scars. So anyway, that'll be something we're looking at later this week if the pneumonia clears up and his lungs get good. So happy about where things are. It's not going to be too great to see that, but it's not going to be worse than it is now. So anyway, thanks so much for the prayers. Love you guys beyond anything that you could ever imagine. Everything that I hear from you, every time I see something, I am so blessed by y'all.